Hello, this is Gilbert Ross. I've made an exciting breakthrough in the search for my missing father, Gilbert Ross. Tune into this episode for the juicy details. After a lifelong search, I finally found my sister. For the sake of privacy, let's just call her Liliana. The good news is, yesterday we shared our first phone call. It was so exciting to hear my sister's voice for the first time, and she shared amazing updates with me. Stand by while I share the details. All my life, I was under the impression that my dad's birthplace is Scotland, where he was left orphaned after his parents had died, before two women adopted him and they moved to South Africa. However, yesterday, after my phone call with Liliana, my sister, she shared shocking details with me. Please stay tuned while I share the details. The reality is that South Africa is my father's real birthplace and not Scotland, as I thought. He was raised by his own parents. His father is indeed Scottish, while the identity of his mother is unknown. What I did find out during my phone call with my sister yesterday is that his father died at a young age, leaving him in the care of his mother. She later remarried, but sadly, she died during childbirth. After my dad's mother died during childbirth, his stepfather sent him away to live with his two aunts. They are the people who raised him, and they lived in Yeovil, Johannesburg. They are also the people who sent him to the Torah Academy for Boys, a Jewish school in Johannesburg. This is where he discovered his love for Judaism. It is something I just could never understand, but now everything makes sense. Let's fast forward a couple of years. After my mother divorced my father, he moved in with his girlfriend Brenda. They got married round about 1972 and had two children, my sister Liliana and then another boy who I have not yet met, but I plan to get in touch with him. I've already sent him messages on Facebook and I just hope for contact pretty soon. Now this is the time when things get a little sad. My father and his new wife Brenda, together with their two children, moved to Israel. This is round about 1976 to 1977. After a while in Israel, Brenda seemingly missed South Africa. She took her two children and moved back to South Africa, leaving my dad abandoned and stranded in Israel. I know for a fact that he wanted to complete his commercial pilot's license. It was one of his dreams. Not long after Brenda returned to South Africa, they started receiving postcards from my father. One from France, one from Germany, and then another, not long after, from England. I know this is a fact because I traced his address in England. It was 123 Herschel Road, Stoke-on-Trent, Staffordshire. And it is claimed that he owned a travel and accommodation business during the time he lived in England. And this is true because I saw the divorce indictment from Brenda where she sued my father for a divorce, claiming support for herself and for her two young children. And that is exactly where I lost his trail, in Stoke-on-Trent, England, and no one ever heard from him again. He disappeared like mist before the sun. Thanks again for listening to this podcast about the search for my missing father, Gilbert Ross. If you or anybody out there knows anything about him, please reach out. I don't want retribution. I don't want compensation. I don't want any explanations. All I want to do is to embrace him and to hear his voice and tell him that I really love him. Daddy, if you are listening to this podcast, please reach out. I love you and I forgive you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.